Okay, so I've rendered these movies out to QuickTime files, and then I've encoded them into DVD MPEG-2. Now I'm going to go ahead and take these M2V files, or these MPEG-2 files, and import them into my project. We are now in Encore, and I'm going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this footage, and just drag all these inside of here. Now, we have two menus, and we have two transitions. Now, transition 1 is from the main menu to the extra menu, and transition 2 is from the extra menu to the main menu. Okay, I'm going to create our first menu. So I'm going to choose Menu, New Menu, and I'm going to name it Main Menu. And let me just change this to 50%. And then I'm going to take our main menu, M2V, drag it over, hold down Alt, and create the menu. I'm going to create a new menu, Menu, New Menu. Take the extras menu, drag it over, holding down Alt and letting it go. And I'm also going to resize this down to 50 so I can work with it. Now to get back and forth between the menus, we just select this little top button here, switch back and forth. Now let's name this Extras Menu. Okay, very good. Now we need to create transition tracks. So if you're using DVD Studio Pro or another DVD authoring program, what you're going to want to do is create a new timeline for each of these. For example, if I'm in the main menu and when somebody selects extras, I want to go to the extras menu, what I would do is take the transition 1, which is the transition from the main menu to the extras menu, create a new timeline with the video in place, and then for the end action, I would tell it to go to the extras menu. Then in the main menu, so then you would set up a button so when the extras menu is activated, instead of actually going to the extras menu, it goes to the DVD 1 transition, plays this, and then this executes the end action, which takes you to the actual extras menu. So essentially it would be somewhat of a seamless transition, but in fact, we're going to use one feature of Encore, which is the transition effect. So we're just going to delete this transition timeline, and we're just going to use the built-in feature of Encore. Now I'm going to go back to our main menu, and first thing we need to do is create a button. So I've already created a button, but I want to kind of just show you a quick way to make a button. Now, I haven't installed all the extras components. You guys probably will have a lot of library components and such, but instead of using those components, I'm just going to take the text tool. I'm going to type button, and then I'm going to take the selection tool here and choose object, convert to button. So now it's a button, right? Instead of trying to line it up, I'm actually just going to bring it into Photoshop by right-clicking, choosing Edit Menu in Photoshop, and Photoshop will then launch. Now I'm going to bring up my layers. Let's see here, reset. I'm going to go to my layers palette. Now in the layers palette, I want to add a selection state, meaning when somebody rolls over play all, I want it to highlight in, say, a gold color. So in order to not have to render this menu out again, since it's already compressed for DVD, I want to create a vector button. So what I'm going to do is go to the shape tool, choose the rectangle tool, and I want it to be a filled shape. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to change the color to orange. Then I'm just going to draw a box kind of around where I want. And then I'm going to lower the opacity of this layer to about 30% maybe. And now here's the tricky part. This layer now needs to be renamed a specific thing. Now it's already inside of this layer set called plus and button, but now we need to give it a very specific command in its name. So I'm going to double click in the name area, and I'm going to type begin parentheses equal sign 1 in parentheses, and I'm just going to call this the highlight. Now basically what this is going to do is this is going to tell Encore I want this state to be my button state when it's highlighted. So for now I'm going to shut the layer's eye off so that we don't see it. And now this button was basically just a way to get into Photoshop with the layer set already created. So actually I'm just going to delete this. Now I'm going to leave the highlight off, and I'm going to just close this out and choose yes to save. Now I'm going to go back to Encore, and now what I have is this highlight button. And it looks to be nothing. There's no opacity to it. But if I go to the monitor window, I can show different states of my button. And if I go to the highlight state, I can see that it is in fact something there. Now the cool thing about this is when somebody views this menu, it will just highlight when the person is selecting over that menu. So what I'm going to do next is line this up. Now what I would recommend is saving this into your library. I probably use this type of a button more than I use any other type of button. So to do that, with the button selected, drag it over into the library, let it go, give it a name, and now you're all set. Now I've already created one earlier, but we're just going to go ahead and use the one we've created for now. So I'm going to zoom into 100% and take our new button and just kind of line it up here. And the great thing about this is it's a vector button, so we can resize it and do whatever we want. We won't have to re-render the menu out every time we want to preview it. So that's great. Now to duplicate this easily, I'm going to hold down Alt and drag, and then I'm going to hold down Shift afterwards and let go. Line that up. So we got two buttons here. Now I'm going to copy this, Control C, go to our Extras menu, Control V, bring this up to the top here, turn on the highlight, zoom in 100%, come over here and shrink this down a little bit, Alt drag down again for the back button, and then we can just get those. Okay, so now I've created all my buttons. Now, for this tutorial, we're really only going to concentrate on two things, and that is getting from one menu to the next. So I'm actually just going to delete this Play All button, and I'm going to go to our Extras menu and just delete these other buttons. All I want to do is be able to go from my main menu to my Extras menu, and then from my Extras menu back to my main menu. So now in the main menu, I'm going to select the button, and I'm going to choose my link or my target. So when somebody clicks Extras, I have to tell it where to go. Now I could just take this little whip, come over here to the Extras menu, and then it would connect those two together, or I can just click on this arrow here, choose Extras menu and the default. Then if I go to the Extras menu, same thing, I can click on the back button and set the link up to go back to the main menu, or likewise I can just choose it from this selection menu. Now, the cool new thing is we can automatically set up a transition. So with the back button selected, I'm going to go to Transition and change the asset to Transition number 2. Because remember, Transition number 2 was from the Extras menu back to the main menu. Now I'm going to go back to the main menu. Now with the Extras button selected, I'm going to choose Transition, and I'm going to link up Transition number 1, which is the main menu, to the Extras menu. Now the cool thing about this transition is that it's per button. So say if you have one button that maybe zooms in, for example, maybe zooms into the window or maybe zooms into a different crack, you'd want to have the transition be specific to that menu, as if the Extras menu was in here, the Play All movie went into the window, and so on and so forth. Now, we've added the buttons and we've added the transitions, so let's preview it. So I'm going to go File, Preview. And now we have this project preview come up, and I've deleted the Play All button, so all we can click on is the Extras button, and I will do that now. It transitions forward, and now this button becomes active. Now you probably notice it just a slight jump once the menu starts playing, and depending on where you go back to the menu, like if you watch now, I'm waiting a few seconds and then I'm going to click back. The initial state of the transition is the first frame of the effect, so there's no way of really getting it to be exactly precise. And if you watch any DVD menu, you'll notice that if there's a video or something playing that, it always cuts back to maybe the beginning video or a different part of it. So it's sort of a limitation, but I think with a good sound effect and maybe some music, you can easily bypass that with a nice sound transition as well, so that it's not just what you're seeing, but it's also what you're hearing. Well, I hope you found this tutorial useful, and good luck to you in the future. I'm Andrew Kramer.